Uninsured drivers in the UK are targeted as being a source of the increasing premium rates for motor insurance. But not only. Ashton West, Chief Executive of the Motor Insurance Bureau, outlines for News Insurances some of these other reasons.
Historically, the UK has probably one of the worst records in Western Europe for uninsured driving. In fact, at its worst, it was probably significantly above 5%, that's sort of 1 in 20 drivers without insurance, and that compares with some of the best in Europe of, sort of 0.1% or even lower. And certainly below 1% regularly throughout Western Europe. So we are pretty bad. The answer to how or why that is very complex. There's lots of reasons. Sometimes it's simply cultural. Some countries are much better at obeying the law than possibly in the UK. Sometimes it's because of lack of enforcement or lack of focused enforcement. Sometimes it's because the system is just different. I mean, Germany, for example, and the way it works with the licence plates is very different to the way it works in the UK. So there are lots of different reasons, but the research that we did, the insurance industry in the UK did some years ago, indicated that probably one of the most effective methods that we didn't have at that time was what's known as enforcement from the record. So in other words, to have a database of insurance so you could deduce the vehicles that weren't insured, to check those against the vehicle registration database, compare the two, and identify uninsured drivers that way, so you didn't actually have to catch them driving on the road. And that's really what we've introduced this year. So we've learned from Europe, and we believe that's one of the more effective methods that we're working on. We launched the advertising campaign for continuous insurance enforcement in May of this year, and the first letters, the insurance advisory letters, went out in June. But we started in a relatively soft campaign initially, so there's TV advertising, but we started to send the letters out relatively slowly. We're up to about 2,500 letters a day now, or 10,000 a week, because we do it 4 days a week. We take calls at the call centre, and the reaction generally has been supportive of what we're trying to do. I often say there is no sort of lobby for the uninsured driver. Most people want uninsured drivers off the road, not only because they subsidise uninsured drivers through paying insurance premiums, but they cause accidents, and uninsured drivers are responsible for about 160 deaths and 23,000 injuries every year in the UK. So most people want uninsured drivers off the road. So basically supportive. Undoubtedly, the UK's insurance premiums, with the possible exception of Ireland, are some of the most expensive in Western Europe. There's a combination of reasons for that, but fundamentally it's because the claims costs in the UK are so high. We have a combination of drivers for that. We have a personal injury culture. We encourage people to make personal injury claims. We have claims management companies, cold calling, sending text messages. We have referral fees, which are paying people for referring data to encourage people to claim. These add cost but no value into the personal injury system. We have a significant fraud problem with crash for cash, where people sort of induce accidents. We have ghost passengers in cars. All of these things are inflating claims costs enormously. And until we fundamentally grapple with that problem and start to bring down the cost of claims, and particularly the attritional costs, the legal costs of bringing these claims, then our premiums will stay high. So we really need to grapple with those, and of course the uninsured driving problem. And when we do that, we will start to see insurance premiums stop rising and hopefully start to come down.